Welcome back to Loan Officer Success Live, and this is the Coach's Corner powered by Premier Lending. Your host, mortgage leader and business builder, Devin Dubuque, and the coach with the winning playbook, Rick Koenig. Together, they're bringing you real strategies, no fluff insights, and the exact steps to grow your mortgage business. Buckle up because this is Loan Officer Success Live. All right, man. No fluff today, Coach.
No fluff today. We had fluff this morning. I walk outside to go to the gym, and we got 2 inches of snow on the ground and didn't even know it was supposed to come. And by 11 o'clock, it was gone.
Up there in Cincinnati, man.
Cincinnati.
Cincinnati.
So we had a fake spring and a comeback winter. We have 11 seasons up here.
You do. It's always something new up there, man. Always something new. So, well, today we're going to cover the mortgage myths that are killing your growth. And I think we're going to debunk some things today. And I honestly, Coach, I don't even know what you're going to say. So I'm kind of excited to hear what you think on this topic. So here we go. You ready for question or myth number one?
Let's go for it.
If rates drop, my business will automatically grow. Myth or fact?
Myth. You might pick up some ancillary business. You might get lucky and have a couple old clients that you refinance or you financed that you haven't called yet, call you back. But compared to the people who are, working with agents, actively staying in contact with pre-approved borrowers and talking to their database, you are not going to just automatically grow. I mean, think about it. If you look at the numbers in our industry of how many people that have, quite frankly, not done a thing over the last 10 years. And what do we hear from them? Just wait till it gets back to normal. Guys, it's been normal the last 4 years,
Yeah.
And the only more normal thing will be to get into a little flow where the market does dip up and down and you get an opportunity to refinance every 12 or 18 months.
That's it.
But yeah, I say that one's myth.
Well, I was going to say the same thing. I was going to say, if you're invisible now, you're going to be invisible when rates drop, right?
Yep.
So position yourself, just make sure that you're positioning yourself in the right place. And, opportunity is amplified with preparation. So, make sure that you're prepared. So we're 1 for 1. We agree.
Okay.
All right. Number two myth. Social media is optional for loan officers.
I think nowadays that's a myth too. I mean, there's multiple ways to drive business in the door. And if you are not exercising, each one of those ways to get business in, you don't have to be a marketing expert to do social media. It's exactly what it says.
Right.
It's just being social. Go on, comment on somebody's post, be genuine. And then don't, I got a buddy of mine used to call him something, but, as soon as they answered back or did a like, they'd pick the phone up and call them. And it's like, no. You got to build the relationship. That wasn't a relationship. That was the start. And if it can be as simple as going through LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, and just friending or following each of the leaders in your community or the real estate agents you want to do business with. And what did we learn? You got to do about a 5-word comment and, say something positive about the marketing, say something positive about a home they just sold or one they just listed. And, the longer you do that, the more they'll start looking at you. And who are our mortgage dads up in Washington?
James and Travis
that built a $130 million business just off of Instagram.
Well, that's just a portion of their business is 30 million. So that portion came just from their social media channels. Right. And then they have the other business from all their other activities. And then we've got our gal down in Naples, Florida, Denise Panza, who does about the same 30 million, but hers is all social. She's like, I do nothing but social. Of course, she's got agency works with, but it's because of her social activity. And I'm going to say the same thing here too. I also think it's, I don't think it's a myth. I don't think it's optional. I think it's required. And where my position on this, which is that social media is your business card in 2026, right?
100%.
This is how people know who you are, and we don't want you to be a billboard. You don't need to be out there just talking about mortgage in general. Let people know who you are. Let them know that you're active in the community. Let them know a little bit about your family, so when they look you up, they see, the mortgage stuff, but that's in between who you are as a person, because we're in a trust recession, and we're in a weird place in our world where people just don't trust people, right? In fact, there's probably people on it right now. Are you guys AI, right? We're not AI.
Yeah.
We're real people. Or the even better yet, is this really live? And the answer is 100% we're live, right? Like, if you pop a question in the comments, we'll answer it right now, because we truly are live. So you want to be visible to people so they know who you are, and that you're out there, and that you're a real person, and what you really bring to the table. Are you really a good person? Are you somebody we can trust, right? Familiarity, I can't even say the word, builds trust.
You've been teaching us, and teaching people for a long time about the importance of branding, and that branding is who you are, and it's your social media. And I don't know how long ago I did it, but if you go and you look at my LinkedIn, I went ahead and took the moniker Coach Rick Koenig, and what does it say about me? It says recruiter, Premier Lending and Sukasa Loans, bilingual, partner at Empire Financial, husband of 44 years, dad, grandpa to 5 grandsons, coach, fanatical Cincinnatian, local music expert, love to travel, and love LaSalle High School and my Catholic faith. If you don't know who Rick Koenig is after reading my bio, you don't know Rick.
Well, you're coach. You're coach. And at the end of the day, that's what people need to know. And that's the people that do know you. That's what they know you by, right? It's coach, right? And that's it. And by the way, if you don't know me, I'm Mr. Dubu. That's Mr. who I am. Dubu. People call me Mr. Dubu. It's on my vehicles. My wife calls me Mr. Dubu. She's Mrs. Dubu. When we go out in public, people are like, oh, the Dubus are here. So, we're the Dubus. And that's who people know me by. Be who you already are. If somebody is, asking you, well, what's your brand? Who are you? You're you. What do your friends call you? What do your family members call you? So, okay. So we're 2 for 2. So let's go into number 3. If I'm good at structuring loans, I'll always win.
I'm going to say fact, because if you're good at structuring loans, hopefully you're also good at explaining to the people what you're doing and why you're doing it, how you're doing it, so that they get a comfort level with you, that they're not going to trust, the guy from the 1-800, just put your info on my webpage and we'll get back with you, does for them. I truly believe you have to be an expert at what you do. And I think a lot of loan officers have lost that part of the business.
So I'm going to challenge you a little bit here, because while I do agree that we have to be a master of our craft, at the same time, I'm going to go back to the visibility thing. And if we're relying just on the fact that we're great at doing loans to bring that business to us, I got some hard facts for you. It doesn't work like that. I know some really amazing loan officers right now, some of the best that I've ever worked with, understand their guidelines inside and out, that are reconsidering being in the industry because they're having a hard time getting business. And let me tell you something. These are the people you want to work on your loans. These are the ones that you want to work on your loans. So while being good at structuring loans will make sure that your clients win, I don't know that it's always going to make sure that you win, but should you 100% be good at it? No question about it. You've got to be great at it.
Well, and I tell you what, anybody that's out there that's watching this live or sees this later on, if you are one of those people who's an absolute expert and technician and tactically you're the best out there, but you just can't get leads to close, or you can't even get leads in the door, give us a call, because we're looking for people like you to put with top producers that are great at bringing stuff in, but sometimes they really suck at doing the technical part of it. They're great. They're great at making relationships.
They're hunters.
Bringing the deals
they're
in.
hunters. Yeah, they're just not. They're not good at the actual.
They love the kill, but they don't finish the meal.
Yeah, that's it. So, well, that's funny you mentioned leads, because that's myth number 4, and I guess we're not 100% now. So we were 2 for 2, but now we're 2 for 3, because we didn't agree on the third one. we kind of agreed, but we can't count it a full agreement. So leads are my biggest problem. Myth number 4. Leads are my biggest problem. Myth or fact?
100% fact. If they're not having the relationships, they're not doing the social media, they're not asking for the business, you're not going to get the leads. They just don't. I will tell you, back in the day, in the 90s, when rates came from the 10s down into the high 7s, the phone rang off the hook. I mean, it was insane. And there was more units, I think, back in 93 and 2003 than units that are going on today between purchases and refis. And so the phone did ring. If you had a billboard, people called. But guess what we didn't have? Social media.
Yeah, social media is your billboard.
We still had bag phones, and we looked like Captain Kirk with the communicator when we were out there in the field on the cell phones. So 100%. That's
well. So again, maybe leads are my biggest problem. It could be your biggest problem, but maybe, Coach, maybe it's conversion. Maybe you're not converting your leads right because you don't understand the business the way you should, or maybe, and this is a great one, your follow-up discipline. Maybe you're not following up great. And let me tell you this one, and this is going to hit home because we just had one of the best LOs I know on a call earlier today that literally said relationship depth, right? And what she was talking about is not the relationship with the agent, it was the relationship with the client. She was doing a terrible job of taking the application. She got to the habit of just mechanically just sending the app to the client to fill out.
Yeah.
And as a result, there was no relationship that was being built with the client. It became more of a mechanical process. And all of a sudden people started shopping her. And she's like, well, why are they shopping me? They're shopping her because she wasn't building a relationship with these individuals. So the relationship depth is a real thing, right? And then the last one is, and you're going to 100% agree with this one, Coach, database neglect. How many people are neglecting doing the one thing that will always work, which is tapping into the people that we already know, right? Outreaching.
I would guarantee anybody that if, what's really crazy is a lot of people get into this business and they've done well, they've made some money in the past, or they're making more money than they've made at previous jobs. And you get a little content. And sometimes that contentment's hard to break back out of. Now your A-type, ADD, ADHD people, they're always looking to grow and go crazy. I think we fall into that category. But even us, we can get, tired of picking up the phone, or, we find aversions to, take care of other stuff instead of doing what we need to do. And, I really think that if you don't put in, and you're going to die when I say a little number, 2 hours a day of real work. And I'm going to bet that 80% of the people out there that will ever hear this don't work 80% of the day. You're doing stuff and you're busy, but it's not productive money-making work.
Yeah. Well, I think you hit the nail with the last comment, which is money-making work. Like, is it actually going to bring money through the door? Because one thing that a lot of people forget in this industry and a lot of industries, sales related, right, is that we're professional marketers. That is our true job, is to become a professional marketer. Because if we become a professional marketer, then we're always going to be bringing in business. And if we don't take that job seriously, we can be the best at putting loans together, but we're just not going to have any loans to put together. So you've got to get great at both, or, as we both know, layer your system if you're doing enough business to where you have somebody that can put the loans together for you so you can stay focused on the money-making activity. But don't give that part up. That's the part that's always going to give you the biggest reward. So myth number 5, and I think I know where you're going to go on this one. I need a better company to grow.
I don't believe you always need a better company. Sometimes you just need a better you. What we just talked about, putting in that 2 hours. Literally, I talked to somebody, had a great 10, 12-year run in a company.
Yeah.
And then 5 companies over the last 5 years. and I know the names of these companies, and there's no reason why they needed to leave any of the four previous and why they're looking at leaving at this one.
Yeah.
And I know it's a them problem, not a company problem. And so I'm going to pass on this person because I don't need somebody that we're going to spend the time and money to get in here, to educate, to get going. You know, and I say that, but I am going to at least give them another look, because I do know, at least at Premier, we do some things that are different than some other companies to help support our people, to help them grow their business. But I got to hear the right thing, you know, that they take responsibility for their business and they're willing to commit to, you know, working that 2 full hours a day to build a lifestyle that you and I both know that can just be the same as a doctor, lawyer, or sometimes even athletes.
No question. So, well, I love that you said that, because that's coming from the recruiter. So the recruiter says that people don't always need a better company to grow, right? And that's tough, right? Because that contradicts everything that a recruiter is about. A recruiter is about bringing people into the business, but at the same time, it's the right people at the right time for the right reasons. And that's how you know you're working with a great company, because a great company cares about placing you where you need to be, not where he wants you to be or she wants you to be. And that's where I was going to go with this, is tools don't always build businesses. Production follows habits, right? So the production is based around the habits. And do you have great habits, right? And that's super important. So it's not always about the place. Sometimes it's about you. Are you doing the things that you need to do inside of your business to get great? I talk about this all the time. I had a conversation with one of my loan officers the other day, and you know what I've always found in my career is that I can go to almost any company and be successful, right? Are they all perfect? No, most of them are not. In fact, there's layers that have to be peeled back. It's like, oh, I don't love this, I don't love this. But the question is, can they close loans? Do they have guidelines that follow real guidelines without crazy overlays? And are the rates decent enough to where you are in the market, not the best rates in the market and not the highest rates in the market? Because let me tell you something. If you have a average company that's able to close loans, but you bring greatness through the door, you'll make that company better and you'll make money anywhere that you go. And that's just the way that it is. I've done it time and time and time again. And I've always been, we've talked about this the other day, the water cooler effect, where I turn around and I look at the guy sitting by the water cooler going, man, you can't do it here. Nobody's making money here. Well, right across the room, you got this guy that's stacking cash, right? Yeah. Why is that? You know, and then they're talking about why that person's stacking cash. And it's not because they're great at what they do or they put in the work or they put in the effort. That's not what they think it is, right? They think it's because of some sort of an unfair privilege that they've gotten from somebody in senior management. And I'm going to call bullshit. That's bullshit. That's hard work. Somebody's out there hustling their ass off. They deserve the recognition. And if you're the person standing by the water cooler, shame on you. Put your ass to work. Get out there and get it done. It's not always about the place. It's about you and the discipline that you have in yourself.
Yeah. And there are people that make mistakes. I mean, you and I both know of people that have gone to a company that the recruiter was great and they get there and they just don't live up to the expectations that they set for this person. Yeah. They don't follow through. That's why I love on our marketing. It says, when you start with Premier Lending, that's when we go to work. You know, I mean, we don't go to work just to get you. We go to work once you're here. Yeah. And that's why we have a lot of the tools that we have that, you know, have helped some of our people grow. And we're seeing people grow that it took a while. Yeah. But they needed to change their mindset. They needed to change their thinking about what's going on, because, you know, who used to say stinking thinking, you know, if you've got stinking thinking, people can hear it on the other end. You know, when people hear me and you, they know, if they don't even see us, they know we're smiling. Yeah. You know, Amen. I've never heard of something come from you if I wasn't looking at it where there wasn't a smile, you know, as big as the camera right in front of me. So, and I've been a recipient of those videos, you know, and people can feel it. You can hear it. You can also hear and feel desperation, you know, and that's another thing that, you know, if you're at a company and you're blaming the company, you can start to sound desperate or negative, and you don't even know it.
Yeah. Well, I used to tell people all the time, I would fire people quicker than anything for a negative attitude, even if they're a great producer. You got a negative attitude and you bring that to the table, you're going to sink the entire ship. And that is one of their poison. That is poison. Get that poison out of your organization. Yep. So myth number 6. And I think it's a great one because we just talked about this yesterday. Non-QM is too risky. Myth or fact? Is that a myth or a fact? Well, there's a lot of people that don't do it. They don't touch it, right?
Good. Then let's, our people that are pursuing it, we'll let them go for it. But no, right now, literally, I just 5 minutes before you and I got on, was looking at a non-QM program for I-10 for our Sukasa division. And, the questions were coming to me from the corporate side, is it really, this percentage of a loan? Is it really this? And I talked to the people and it's for real. So it's just a matter, it's only available in Texas, no other state. Okay, well, cool. I've got people in Texas that could utilize this loan. And I got people that don't utilize it that can talk about it and refer Spanish speaking borrowers to our Sukasa division. And, and we could do this loan for them. And so
let me tell you what I think on non-QM.
We're going to get signed up.
I think on non-QM, it's an education gap. We don't understand it. We don't have the idea on how to creatively structure it for the consumer, but borrowers need solutions and fear versus competence, right? Like, let's just talk about that. We literally did a 1-hour training yesterday on DSCR loans, and not just how to put them together and how to qualify them, but we also talked about how to go out and market them so that you can start to build your market share. You need to make sure that you're educating yourself, because if you can educate yourself, you can educate your consumers and you can educate your agents, and you're going to bring some products to the market that right now, and let's be honest, we just talked about this yesterday, 30% in all markets, 34% in some markets of transactions done in 2025 were investors. That's a third of the market. So if you're not tapping into that because you don't understand your non-QM programs, you are missing a third of potential opportunities out there to find some business. And investors right now are motivated because we can go out and buy properties while other people are passing them by.
So think about that. Think about the things we just talked about. Is it a myth that if rates go down, you're going to get busier? Okay. Mm-hmm. And our answer, non-QM. Think about this. If you're not doing non-QM and it's 34% of the market, you only have 66% of the market left to get a piece of. If 50% of most people's business who are doing the follow-up with their past database, with their realtors, with their pre-approvals, if 50% of their business is coming from that, you're now down to what, 35 plus you're knocking off 50% of that 66 that's left. You got 33% of the market to go after now. Now you wonder why you're not getting leads and stuff like that. You've limited yourself to 33% of the market or less.
That's it. 100%.
All right, here we go. Those are my
terrible odds.
What does my son say about his wife? He said those are he calls it wife math. He calls it wife math. It's wife math.
That's it. Yeah. Don't let the odds play against you. Non-QM is a great program, great product. And if you're not utilizing it to your advantage, you're missing business right now. You don't need to wait for the rates to come down. In fact, what was crazy is we were looking at the rates on the non-QMs yesterday. And it was like, wow, these are almost as good as the standard conventional rates. And effectively, there's no income doc requirements. So don't avoid your non-QM, like super, super important. So myth number 7, and I think it's a good one for 2026. Am I too late to build my brand?
Too late to build your brand?
Yeah. No. I haven't done it. I avoided social media. I haven't been going out there and letting people know who I am, right? Is it too late?
No. It's too late if you keep saying I'll do it tomorrow. I used to have a teacher that always used to say Belki Yarın. He would say that's Turkish for tomorrow. And in the Turkish language, there is no word for tomorrow. So tomorrow never comes. I don't even know if it was a real word, but the old colonel used to say that to me.
Yeah. I'm going to put this out there. I want you for some reason, YouTube they favor putting old businesses in front of me and showing me like where the business that was the number one in the country was 10 years ago versus where it is today. And it literally does this really fast graph, and it shows the model where the business is going down and the other one's going up. And there's consistent changing of placement, right? And what's really crazy about this is that when you watch these things, there's these new brands that pop up, and then all of a sudden they go literally straight to the top, right? Like Amazon was one of those brands. Like it was just nothing. There was no Amazon, then bam, Amazon. And now if you don't know what Amazon is, then you've clearly been living in the mountains somewhere.
20 years ago, the largest corporation in the world was General Motors. They had the 5th largest mortgage company in the world. They had a bank. They're not there now. There is no GMAC mortgage. Yeah. Countrywide was the number one mortgage company in the world in 2007.
Gone.
There's a lot of former Countrywide people working all over this country.
That's it. So, it's never too late.
It's never too late to start.
That's it. Consistency is about timing.
Because what if it just gets you one extra loan?
That's it.
It's 12 loans a year.
Get consistent right now. Go out and start doing something today. And you can build your brand, and literally you'll look back in a year and go, wow, look what I've done. This is amazing. And it works like that. I promise. I've done it myself. I actually had no social media at all. Dating back 2021-ish, and now I'm I got a few channels, so
you've got
a few. So let's talk myth versus fact. Volume equals success.
Volume equals success.
This is going to be a little confusing, so I'll give you the reveal. But I want your insight.
If you're doing a lot of volume, means you're getting a lot of leads, you're converting a lot of loans. But I don't know. I'm stumped on that one. I'd have to think about that. What were your thoughts on that one?
Well, I'm going to say this
live, right?
Right out of the starting gate. I'm going to say this right out of the starting gate, and you go, oh crap, I just talked about this the other day. What about your profit margins? You can have a ton of volume and be cutting them all down to these really, really thin deals. And is that success? You're a hamster on a wheel, just running really, 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 really fast, right? Yeah. And what is that going to lead to? Burnout.
Yeah, you're going to get tired. You're going to get burned out. You have to make money in this business. And, I've heard people over the years, being a recruiter, I've heard them say, well, the company makes this much money. Wait a minute. Are you happy with the rates? Are you happy with your pay? Are they closing the loans on time? Thank God they're making that much money, because that's why, they are. Now, if they're making a ton of money and not paying well and not closing loans on time and not, helping you grow your business, well then, yeah, of course it's not a good thing. And those are the people that sometimes need to learn to switch and go to a company that's going to make money, but also, spend it helping them grow their business.
Well, I'm just going to put it frankly, a business has to make money, right? Yeah, show of hands, right, of loan officers that that lost their company over the last 3 years because it just doesn't exist anymore. That's because those businesses weren't doing a good job of putting profitability to the bottom line. And as a result, they jeopardized your job. Your company needs to make money. Because if they're not profitable, there will be no company for people to work at. So we have to realize that profit margins for everybody is important. You need to make money, but the company needs to make money, because we have to be able to provide resources so that we can grow and expand and give you a long-term opportunity for success. So volume doesn't always mean growth. Sometimes it means that you're just running a thin profitability margin. So you've got to have both. You can't just have volume.
I had that exact situation years ago in my GMAC branch. I had my buddy Dewey down in Princeton, West Virginia. Dewey was closing $7-8 million a year, all FHA. Never discounted a rate. Back then, you remember when we used to have the term overage?
Yeah.
Point of overage on every deal. Dewey was more profitable at 7 to 8 million than a friend of mine right here in Cincinnati who's still in the business. She was closing 17, 18 million a year back then. And I made more money off of Dewey than I did her. And the funny thing was, one time I'm interviewing this young guy and he said, yeah, I just have to come and join you guys. I can't beat you. And I went, what do you mean? He goes, every time I quote a rate at this particular real estate office, she beats me by 0.75% sometimes. I said, 0.75%. He goes, sometimes at least 0.5%. I'm like, 0.5%. So that's when I went back and looked at her numbers, and it was like, no kidding. She was still making her back then 65 basis points, but instead of our branch making whatever it was supposed to make, we were making like 20, on those deals. And sometimes it was even less. She was doing them for free almost.
Yeah.
So
now you got to make money. You got to make money. It's important. Your company needs to make money too, right? But you have to have healthy profitability for a business to survive and thrive, right? To grow. So we got two more.
Not everybody understands that, because I brought her in to meet this guy and I said, tell her what you just told me. He told her and she goes, damn right. And if you go into that branch again, I'll beat you by 3/4 every time. I'm like, no, that's not what I wanted you to say. I wanted you to say, I'm going to only beat you by 1/4 from now on.
Oh, my man. Yeah, I don't need to be that lean. Well, we're over the time and we got 2 myths left. So let's knock these out really quick. Okay. If I just grind harder, I'll win.
Sometimes that works, but just work smarter. Convert 5% more of the leads you already have.
Yeah. Well, or put systems in place, right, that can allow for you to work less and achieve more. Utilize a CRM to leverage your workflow, which will, again, give you more time back. Create automations and delegate more, right? Yep. Hustle's going to build the income, but systems build the freedom.
Yep.
All right. Last one, and we're going to wrap up. Myth number 10, 2026 will be easier.
If you're already doing all the things we talked about, it could be easier, because when rates do come down, you're going to be the first person on their mind. But it's not going to be easier when you're talking about what they're talking about, a 6 to 8% increase in mortgage origination business this year. If you're only closing 2 loans a month and you get 6%, that's, really, are you going to get one more deal?
No, it's going to reward the prepared. That's the reality. 2026 will reward the prepared. So, if you're going through this list and you're going, man, I got to fix that. I got to fix that. I got to fix that. Fix that. You still have time. It's just like social media. It doesn't matter if you don't have a presence yet. If your brand's not there yet, you can build that brand and become present. Same situation here. You've got time to make 2026 great, but go out there and do the things that we're talking about to improve your business so that you can dominate in 2026 and then cruise into 2027 even more prepared to win.
So, I used to tell people, if you built your business the right way for 3 years, you could have the rest of your career making great money. And the problem is, a lot of people don't want to do what it takes, just 2 hours a day.
That's it.
So, that's why the most successful people I am seeing in the industry over the last 5 years are people with 8 or less years experience who are just going out and doing it. And it doesn't matter what age. You and I are both friends with a beautiful woman out of San Antonio, Texas, who is out there kicking butt. She's only been doing this about 8 years.
That's right.
And why? And she's, she's younger than me, but not much.
Well, she takes action. She takes action.
And I also have, a 30-year-old up in Boston that I just watched close 23 million in her first full year in the business.
Fantastic.
Now, she was in the business. She was an LOA. She was an assistant. She was did some business the year before, but first full year in the business in an ultra competitive market.
Yeah.
So,
well, where a lot of loan officers, senior loan officers, people that have been in it for decades, have gotten out because they couldn't tough it. Right.
Yep.
The newer folks that are jumping in, that are willing to put in the work and put in the effort and do all the stuff that we talked about on today's show, they're killing. They're dominating. And you have the ability to do that. You may just make a couple of tweaks. Make a couple of tweaks to the things that you're doing, and you're going to be amazed at where you take your business. So
Yep.
I think that's going to be it for today's show. Thank you guys, as always, for stopping by. I'm Devin Dubuque.
And Coach Rick Koenig.
We will see you on the next one. You've been watching Loan Officer Success Live, where real strategies meet real success. Don't forget to subscribe now and share it with your teammates, and keep leveling up, because your next breakthrough starts here. If this fired you up, don't just watch success, go out there and build it.